Ask Raven, I see the signs your eyes pass by, I hear the truth behind your lie. Through shadow tide and midnight flame, I guard the lost, I speak their name. What mystery haunts your waking hour? What question hides from reason's power? Write it below, let the dark wings know. Subscribe and let the answers grow. Once upon a midnight dreary, on a coast both dark and eerie, where the breakers whispered theories to the rocks along the floor, I took flight with silent pinions through the fog's own cold dominion. Past the tides with old opinions, past the pines' primeval door, past the cliffs where iron fails and glass is mute forevermore. There below the captain's father bent to mend the nets that gather, paused before a cage that rather seemed to him a thing of lore. For within a pheasant rested, by no hunter's aim arrested, by a gentleness suggested that his hands had not held before. Why the change? What unseen turning swayed the heart's unyielding core? From the forest, slow and steady, walked the watcher, always ready. Giant frame and shadows heady, eyes that glowed with ember store, not in threat and not in greeting, simply standing, softly meeting. Gaze with gaze, no drumbeat beating, just the weight of something more, something older than the trail or map or mark of mortal lore. Then between them, drifting, burning, without smoke, yet lantern learning, came an orb whose light was churning like the moon's forgotten ore. No machine had sparked its making, no command had set it waking. It was there for some forsaking, some old bond to now restore. Truth the wires could not name, and the books could not explore. I have flown where compasses wander, where the faithful needles ponder, where the dials slowly squander all the truth they swore before. I have watched the circuits falter, watched the trusted readouts alter, as if turned by unseen altars set within the forest's core. As if told, this path is closed, and shall be marked for you no more. Radios have hushed mid-speaking, GPS has left men seeking. Drones have fallen, power leaking, to the ocean's iron floor, not from flaw or random error, but from some deliberate terror, or perhaps a gentle bearer saying stay, go back to shore. Not all silence is a void, sometimes it is the ancient law. So I speak to those who wander, if your tools begin to squander all the certainty you ponder. Ask what waits beyond the door, when the screens turn black together, when the compass spins like heather. Pause and feel the weight of weather that you have not sensed before. Hear the hush between two breakers as the cedar starts to roar. Mark this counsel, for I've learned it. Many flights and nights have earned it. 1. Trust your tools, but trust them lightly, for they bend when spirits will. 2. Learn the water's ancient language, how it speaks when all is still. 3. When your gear grows cold together, know it may be keeping you from a truth that claws too sharply or a sight too harsh to view. 4. Never mock the fireside whisper. Those who scoff may bar the gate that would open in their favor on some far and faded date. I have glided over beaches where the wartime pilots fell, where they landed without beacon in a cove that guards its shell, guided not by tower's order, but by lights that roamed the sand, lights that turned to track their landing, then withdrew into the land. On that same and haunted shoreline, I have seen the giant's track, and the orb return in moonlight, never straying from its track. Patterns woven through the ages, not by chance and not by lack. So I say, when proof escapes you, when your footage turns to haze, when the batteries die together and the numbers lose their place, you are not bereft of guidance. You are nearer to the scene, where the waking world is folded by the currents of a dream. If the pheasant leaves its shelter, if the giant fades from view, if the lantern's light extinguishes before it answers you, take the absence as a token, for the forest marks the few. Fry a raven black and knowing, through the night's long corridors going, past the watchfires dimly glowing, past the tides that have no floor. I record what glass cannot. I hold the truths the screens forgot. And when your lantern burns too hot, I let the darkness speak once more. For some secrets lose their meaning when the light is forced to pour. So when next your tech deceives you, let the hush of night receive you. Follow not the panic's heave to try and make the wires obey. Step instead where old winds wander, where the pines lean into ponder, where the tide in whispers yonder calls you down the shadowed bay. There you'll find the paths uncharted, where the firstborn signs still play, and only maps are carried in the heart that dares to stay. And if proof refuses capture, call it mercy, not misfortune. Call it gift, not thwarted fortune. When the lens records no more, for the truth that walks beside you, though your gear may fail to guide you, will return in ways denied you, once you pass the guarded shore. And if ever you grow doubtful of the tale the night has spun, ask Raven, for I've witnessed, and my watch is never done. What you forget, Raven remembers, through fire and embers, Raven remembers. Ask, and I shall answer. From shadowed shore to midnight's door, Raven remembers, nevermore, nevermore, nevermore.